Hello and welcome. Today is Thursday. Welcome to our EdTech Live. You are here because you are going to have a fun way to incorporate some character dialogue into your writing. Some of us on here could be third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, even sixth grade students. Welcome, teachers and students. You are in for a treat this morning. We are going to go ahead and get started. So our task today is to use dialogue to convey the responses and experiences of the characters. So we know that dialogue is important to include into our writing to make it more interesting. Dialogue is a conversation with at least two people. And so we are going to do some writing today, but in a different, fun way. So here is what you're going to have to think about. You are going to need to think about a book that you have read, a story that you have read either in class, at the library, at home, on Epic. Then you're going to think about some of those characters in that story. And then you're going to think about what kind of conversations or things have they discussed in that story or that book? What kind of dialogue could these characters have had? So I'm going to give you just a moment to think about these three things, about a book you've read, about the characters in the story, and about some things that maybe they have had some dialogue in. And if you're not sure yet, that's okay. I'm going to go over an example with you, and then I'll release you to work on your own. So here's the book, the characters, and the dialogue that we are going to take a look at in a moment. We are going to go to chat-animator.net, and the way that we're going to create this dialogue is through a pretend group chat. So your task is going to be to create a group chat between the characters in your story that you have read. Teachers, this is where you can either have students log in to their Chromebooks and access this website. You can definitely pause it if you need to, or you can follow along with me and then do it at a later time. So definitely up to teacher when you would want your students to access this website, chat-animator.net. I will definitely walk you through it as well. So as an example, if I'm in fourth grade, I remember reading this book called Charlotte's Web. So that's the book that I've thought about. Here are some of the characters, and in my book, I remembered that there is a pig named Wilbur, a spider named Charlotte. We have the rat, Templeton, and our main character who is Fern. So I have a book, I have at least two characters that I'm thinking about, and now I'm going to go ahead and create that group chat. So I will go ahead and show you in a tab. Definitely, if you want students to open up, you can now open up your Chromebooks and type that in, chat-animator.net. First one here, we're going to click on it. It should look like this. This is a tech tool that we're going to use to create that character dialogue to have students practice, maybe including that when they go into incorporating it into their writing. So you'll notice that this is the default that's on there. There are 4 characters. It's an animated chat between the characters. You're not going to use those characters. You're going to use the characters from your story that you have chosen. Teachers, if this is too fast, you can definitely pause the video and have students follow at your speed. So again, it's chat-animator.net. And here is where I'm going to show you how to change the characters and create that dialogue, that conversation, that group chat with those characters. In my book, Charlotte's Web, if I click on this first character, it's going to allow me to upload a picture. I want my first character to be Wilbur the pig. I don't have any option to search for things, so this is where teachers are going to have to give students some time to search appropriately on the web for pictures of their characters. So if I'm searching for Wilbur the pig, I can just type in Wilbur the pig from Charlotte's Web. I can go to images. I can find any of these pictures here that I would want to use as a profile contact picture for my Wilbur. Clicking on that, saving the image. It's going to go here to, if you want to name it Wilbur or a character, you can definitely do that too. Definitely make sure it's a JPEG image. That's the file type that we need. Clicking save, and that will be in your files, in your file folder. So when I go back to upload, I'm going to click on my character to upload. I might have to go to my download. So students, you have a different download area in your Chromebook, so you're definitely going to have to find it through your files. I have already downloaded these yesterday, but your pictures will be downloaded into yours and you can just find it. So here's my Wilbur that I've downloaded. I'm going to click it to open, and you'll notice it now has changed my character. I want to rename my contact information to Wilbur. Now I have Wilbur. I can change my chat bubbles from blue to whatever color. That could be done at a different time. But for the sake of time, you're going to think about that book. You're going to think about those characters that you want to include in your group message. And then teachers just definitely feel free to pause the video to allow students to do that, to search for the images, and to upload them. So again, if you're joining a little bit late, that is okay. We are working today to incorporate some dialogue into our writing. Uploading again, if you don't have a picture, you can just search for a picture. I'm just going to change it from Wilbur to Charlotte. Oh, and she's not a pig, she is a spider. Here are some pictures of Charlotte. You can choose any of your characters, quickly saving. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time, again, clicking to save the image, making sure that it is a JPEG image. You can rename it if you would like to. Clicking save, so that way it's ready for you when you go to upload on your chat animator page. So I'm going to do this pretty quickly. Feel free to pause the video and then press play or fast forward when you're ready. I have my Charlotte. I'm going to include my Templeton. And lastly, I'm going to include my main character, Fern. Okay, now that I have all my 4 characters, and just know, teachers and students, you don't have to have 4 characters as long as you have 2. That way you're having that back and forth dialogue with your characters. This is going to help you when you're writing a narrative and you're including dialogue between 2 characters. This is going to be great for you. Okay, so here we are, and you'll notice that it is already showing some dialogue that does not have anything to do with my story. So if I scroll down to the bottom, here's where I can edit it. All of these little yellow circles with that minus sign, that means you're taking those pieces away. This yellow plus sign adds characters and adds dialogue boxes. Same thing up here. If you want to add more characters, you're just going to add with this yellow plus sign button. To take away, you can just take that out too. So again, you don't have to have 4 characters. This is just because my story has 4 characters. So I'm going to start with Wilbur in my group message. he's going to start our very first conversation. I'm going to delete it by just clicking in that box and highlighting the text to delete. So in there, I might say something like this. Hey everyone, just wanted to say good morning. And remember, Wilbur is the pig. I had the best dream about apples and corn. So you'll notice that when I edit that, Wilbur's dialogue is now being animated in that group text format. I'm going to edit Fern's dialogue by clicking and highlighting, deleting. And maybe I don't want Fern to talk next. I want Charlotte to respond in this group message. So the way that I change it is I just click on this rectangle button and then I can toggle between the different characters in my story. So Charlotte says, "Good morning, Wilbur. I'm glad you're rested. I've already spun a new web." So if you have read the book or have seen the movie, Charlotte is the spider that spins webs and includes words. So I'm going to add, speaking of adding a new word today, period, making sure I'm using that punctuation because we are practicing writing. So here is her responding to Wilbur. And now I'm going to have maybe Templeton respond in this group phone chat here. He is our rat. Do any of these words involve cheese? I'm going to include that there because he is a rat. Rats and mice love cheese or leftover scraps because I'm starving. And I'm going to choose to use an exclamation point for him. So you'll notice we have Wilbur, Charlotte's responding, Templeton's responding. You can choose to change those speech bubbles so everybody has a different color. All I did was click on this color option here and just clicking through, I can click through here and then clicking out of the screen. So we've got Wilbur, Charlotte, Templeton. I'm now going to include Fern in my group chat. And you'll notice there are only 3 options here in order to add another person into our group chat for that dialogue piece. I'm going to click this plus sign. It defaults to Wilbur. Going to change it to Fern. Fern says, "Hi guys, I'll be by the barn later after school. Wilbur, want me to bring you a treat? Question mark." And again, if you'd like to change so everybody has a different color, you can do that by clicking on that square color button and finding a color of your choice, clicking out. So once you have it, you can save it. We're going to save it as a GIF, and that should be, it'll record. Now it's saving. And as it's saving there, just for you, I only gave you a little bit of examples. You can continue your dialogue in your group chat with your characters from your story that you've thought of, whether you've read it at home or in class. Teachers, you can tie this into content if they're learning about important people and other areas. So just a fun way to get students writing including that dialogue, getting them practicing with punctuation. So definitely a very fun tech tool. I am going to go ahead and let you explore with your class. So remembering that this is our ELA time. So definitely a way to, oops, encourage that writing. If you are joining late, we are on chat-animator.net. We have included our characters to create that group chat. I hope that this was engaging for you and that you continue to try this out for other texts throughout the summer. I'm going to go ahead and log off and let you explore. Teachers, feel free to reach out and email at any time if you have any questions. Tomorrow's EdTech Live will focus on a tech twist. You're definitely going to want to join. We are going to create some hand-drawn GIFs. So stay tuned. Happy Thursday and signing off.